Lydia Edwards is with us this morning, and it's time for the OTR Pop Quiz. So we're just going to reach in, take this out. You ready for question? I know she's all set. That's a smile of confidence right here.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Question 1. You have a twin sister, so let's start with questions about twins. On your screen, there's a multiple choice. Which of these 3 celebrities is not a twin? One of them is not a twin. Is it Scarlett Johansson? Is it Gisele Bündchen? Is it Jennifer Lopez?
I would say Jennifer Lopez.
You are right. Okay. ScarJo has a twin brother. Of course, we all know Gisele has a twin sister. Okay. East Boston is part of your council district. Before, it was Logan Airport, which is obviously there. What was the name of the airport? What was it known as? Belle Isle Landing, Jeffrey Field, or Santarpio's Airstrip? I did the same thing.
I'm going to eliminate C.
Smart.
But I think, and I'm going to say Jeffrey Field.
You got it. You're 2 for 2. It was Jeffrey Field. Very good. Okay, so and we mentioned that you went to BU as a law student, so we have a BU question for you here as question 3. A member of the Seinfeld cast is an undergraduate from BU. All right, on the screen, you have options. Which one is it? Is it Seinfeld? Is it Jason Alexander? Or is it Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
Undergrad. To be fair, I went to the LLM program. I didn't go to undergrad at BU, but
okay.
I would say Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Well, it's B, Jason Alexander. George Costanza went to BU. All right, and the final question is, you would like to become a member of the state senate. So the designer of the Massachusetts State House, Charles Bulfinch, also designed the Capitol building in another New England state. So we put the options on the screen here. Which state is it? Is it Maine? Is it Vermont? Or is it Rhode Island? Here's a hint. Massachusetts shares a unique history with this state. So is it Maine, Vermont, or Rhode Island?
I'm going to say Maine.
Absolutely, because of course, as we all know, Maine and Massachusetts were one way back when. So you got it. 3 out of 4 is very good.
Same score as the last time.
Very
the only
good.
reason we remember is because you just said it.
Consistent.
The only people that remember that are the actual candidates themselves or the guests themselves. All right, back to the more serious questions. As a city councilor on November's ballot for re-election, you'll also be back on the ballot a month later for a special election for the state senate, as we've talked about. It's not exactly the same constituency. For example, Mass and Cass is ground zero for the city's homelessness, drug problems, and mental health illness. Is Kim Janey doing the right thing, sending them from Boston to a hotel in Revere?
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, because it is in the Senate district, and would be this, if I'm elected, it would be in the constituency between Revere and Boston. I don't think that we need to be treating people as a problem to be moved. We need to see this as a comprehensive regional issue where the table needs to be set so that no city is surprised. And I think that that's what I heard the most from Mayor Arrigo, was that there wasn't a communication about this beforehand. There seemed to be a plan and an intention, and then he seemed to be surprised by it. So I'd encourage the 2 mayors to get together and to really talk about this as a compassionate issue of mental health, where combined together, I think we can do some wonderful things. It's not a you take on something because we've been doing our unfair burden. These are human beings. These are brothers, sisters, mothers, people who need compassion. And it's no one hotel and no one bus is going to fix that. We actually need to have comprehensive wraparound services and just share the money and resources.
So in other words, you feel that Brian, the mayor of Revere's comments, criticisms were appropriate, but how do you feel about the idea of moving some of the population to other cities in the surrounding Boston area?
So I want to be clear, I have not read his direct comments. I do understand that they were embedded in the surprise and no, this isn't just going to happen to us. That in terms of the other cities and people being able to be moved around, the moving around issue is, I don't think that's very compassionate. It's like we're talking about things or furniture. That there should be a regional approach where everyone can find help within their hometown, and that yes, if Boston has to contribute some money to that and other cities do, and we understand it's a pool, that is something I like. That I prefer that narrative. There has to be a way in which we, not just as Boston, are taking on all the compassion and all of the work. I think it is going to take many hands to do this.
Let's talk about something else too. The last topic this morning. Should there be free buses in Boston? Money that would have been made up from other parts of the MBTA budget. Should there be free buses in Boston? Free tea?
Free tea, free buses. This is a public good. And so I firmly believe that we should be headed that way. One way to do that right now is low-income fare, and at least allowing for folks to get a lower fare ticket or a ride on public transportation. But if we have the money and we need to invest in this infrastructure, it's a public good, and we need to treat it as though. It is an equitable, necessary thing to allow people to get to work. We see this in people of color losing 2 weeks of their life commuting. And they're oftentimes commuting that far because they were displaced due to our housing crisis. It's all connected. And so now they're commuting from Brockton or Fall River to come back to their jobs in Boston. We need to invest it in a way that makes it incredibly cheap and hopefully free.
Lydia Edwards, great to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you so
coming in.
much.